Do you know last year in 2024, only 2 games sold more than 30 million copies? And those 2 games were College Football 2025 and Black Ops 6. I would argue that those were not the best games that came out last year, but those are the ones that sold. So I thought it'd be pretty fun if we look at the games that are coming out in 2025 and pin them against the highest selling games of this year. Will they break 30 million copies? Will they succeed as high as Black Ops 6? This will also help with catching you up with what games are coming out next year, because we do have some really interesting and cool games coming out. So maybe there's some that you didn't even know that we're releasing, and this will help you put it in your calendar. And the first game that I want to talk about is Pokémon Legends ZA. And the original Pokemon Arceus sold 15 million copies, and I'm gonna go ahead and say that ZA will do better than that. I'm gonna go on a whim here and say it's gonna do better than Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield, which both sold a little bit over 25 million copies. I do think that ZA can hit that 30 million mark because we are getting Mega Evolutions back, and on top of that, this is the longest time that Game Freak has taken to release a game. They did not release a game in 2024, so they've had time to cook in the kitchen. So if Legend ZA has great designs and is polished, this will be a really great look for Game Freak and get people excited to jump on the game. Because seriously, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet got like really bad reviews and got kind of like blasted on the internet, and even that sold 25 million copies. So if ZA works and the designs are great, I think there's a chance. And let's stick with the Switch and let's talk about Metroid Prime 4. This will likely be a Switch 2 title, which obviously we are getting the Switch 2 next year. I think that's pretty obvious. But I personally don't think this game is going to sell like hotcakes. I think that Nintendo sat on it a little too long. I mean, I know Metroid fans are excited, but I don't think that, people care enough. Unless we get some really amazing gameplay, or like the Switch just blows everybody away with its graphics, I think this game will do pretty decent. Maybe 5 million, 10 million copies, but nowhere near the 30 million mark. Thing is, when the Switch released, there really wasn't a lot of games out for it, so people kind of just bought whatever they could. But I think that the Switch 2 is going to be backwards compatible with the Switch games, so people won't necessarily have to jump right into Switch 2 games. And I think that's going to affect the sales of Metroid Prime 4. And F it, man, let's just finish the Switch games. Mariokart 9. It is more than likely going to be a Switch 2 launch title, and that is hype. We honestly haven't gotten a new Mario Kart game since the Wii U. Mario Kart 8 is a Wii U game, and it is the best selling game on the Switch. So yes, 100% Mario Kart 9 will beat that 30 million mark. It will sell better than Black Ops. That's actually like really exciting. Think about that, guys. We are that close to Mario Kart 9. That's hype. That's hype. Moving away from the Switch and Nintendo games, let's look at like everything else that's coming out. Doom: The Dark Ages is coming out, and unfortunately, I don't see this game hitting the 10 million mark. Doom Eternal sold 7.5 million, and that was during COVID. That game was great, but I do think that it got boosted by its release date. And Doom 2016 sold 2 million copies, and I do see Dark Ages doing better than that. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it's gonna fall somewhere in the middle, maybe 5 million copies for Doom: The Dark Ages. And you know what else is coming out next year? Monster Hunter Wilds. Now this is a very hyped game. I'm gonna say this a lot, but this is one of the games I am most hyped for. The original Monster Hunter Worlds sold 25 million units. And this game looks like a improved version with better graphics and the movement of Rise, and just like it looks like just a pumped up version of Worlds. So yes, I think that this game is going to hit that 30 million mark. I'm gonna speak it to existence, man. That game's gonna pop off. So yes, this game, 30 million copies. Now let's talk about your most anticipated game of next year, Assassin's Creed Shadows. Sorry, I didn't mean to insult you that way. But I'm gonna go ahead and say that this game is not selling 30 million copies. I know, hot take. But Black Flag didn't even sell 30 million copies. That is like the highest selling game of the franchise. And I think it got close to like 15 million. Not happening. AC Shadows is plagued with controversies. Ubisoft is plagued with controversy. It's not a good look for him. It's not a good time to be an Assassin's Creed fan or an Ubisoft fan. And I don't even think there is anybody other than you. I don't know anybody else who's excited about this game. But my hot take is that Assassin's Creed Shadows is not selling 30 million copies. Another one of my most anticipated games for next year is Ghost of Yotei. I'm hyped for this game. Check out my reaction to the reveal trailer. I love the original. I played it twice. I got the plat for it. I like totally no life that game when it came out. So I'm ready to no life this game. That being said, this game does have like some controversy aligned with it due to the main character being a female. I don't know. I don't know if it's really going to affect the sales numbers for this game. I don't think so, because honestly, I don't think people are like that upset about it. I don't know. But Ghost of Tsushima sold 13 million copies, and I do think that this game will do better than that, maybe 15 million. It's not going to get that 30 million because it's a Sony exclusive, PS5 exclusive, and eventually it'll hit PC, but down the line. But for sure, this is going to be a great selling game. 15 million copies for sure. This is gonna do numbers. And let's talk about your second most anticipated game of the year, Death Stranding 2. Hell no, this game is not selling 30 million copies. Nowhere close, friend. We are I think we're gonna look like we're gonna sit at the 2 million copies is what we're gonna sell. It's not gonna be a failure. No way it's gonna be a failure, but it's not gonna sell as good as the first one, I don't think. So let's go ahead and say Death Stranding, aka Walking Simulator, will land somewhere around 2 million copies. I think it'll review well. Obviously, people like that shit for some reason. So PS5 is getting Ghost of Yotei. What is Xbox getting? Well, they are getting Fable, which I never played the original Fable game. It was one of those games that I always saw like at GameStop when I was growing up. I just never had an Xbox, and I always wish I could play it, but I never did. And I'm not going to this year either, okay? I'm not buying that. I'm not, even if it's available on PC, I don't think I'm going to get it. I just have no nostalgia like connection with it. But I do think it's going to do pretty bad. I don't think it's gonna sell that well, especially if it's on Game Pass. If it's on Game Pass, and it's just like, it's not gonna hit those numbers. So I think it's gonna sell less than 5 million, maybe 1 or 2 million units sold. It's gonna do decent. I think it's gonna do them Xbox numbers, And another one of my squeaky chairs, and another one of my most anticipated games of next year, Elden Ring Night Rain. If y'all watch my short that I posted, it was like my reaction of Elden Ring Night Rain being announced, you could see that I was blessed. If you're one of those people complaining that it's multiplayer only or a Fortnite clone or something like that, man, get out of here with that shit, bro. Get out of here. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. Nah, we hype for Elden Ring Night Rain over here, man. Get out of here. But that being said, it's not selling 30 million copies. No way. Elden Ring sold 28.6 million copies. So eventually it will hit that 30 million copies. But Night Rain ain't doing that. And I don't think FromSoft thinks it's doing that either. I think they know that it's a smaller title, reuse assets, blah, blah, blah. It's more of like a experiment game for them. So I think they know that it's not going to be flying off the shelves. But I still think it's going to do very well. Elden Ring holds, like, it has a high name, right? Like, a lot of people, they hold it up to a high standard. So I'm going to go ahead and say it's going to sell over 10 million copies. And whoever buys that game is going to enjoy it. Like me, I'm going to enjoy the crap out of it. Hey, look, check this out. I'll even go as far as saying, if you become a channel member, we can play together. We'll party up on Elden Ring Night Rain. Shameless plug. I heard I got to do that. Apparently I got to do that more often. Comment, like, and subscribe too. Thank you. Bro, you know what other game is not hitting 30 million copies? Borderlands 4. That shit is not hitting 30 mil. Not Not even close, bro. Borderlands definitely peaked at 2, and that game sold 26 million copies, that's good. Those are good numbers. But ain't no one care about Borderlands anymore. Nobody gives a shit. We just got the gameplay trailer at the Game Awards, and it looks super mid. I'm not even gonna lie. It looked like every other Borderlands game, and I'm tired of it. Ain't nobody care anymore. Borderlands definitely needed some type of switch up. I don't know like what actual switch up it needed, but it definitely needed something, because Borderlands 4 ain't got nobody hyped. Nobody's talking about it, and I think it's gonna land. It's gonna just big old fart noise when it hits the shelves. But obviously there's still like a lot of like, I guess, hardcore Borderlands fans, because some people still went to go watch the Borderlands movie for some reason. So those people will probably buy the game. Let's go ahead and say 5 million copies. That's generous. You welcome, Borderlands. You owe me. Yo, Gearbox, send me a code. I'll play it. The next game that sadly will be hitting 30 million copies is College Football 26. I don't know why people enjoy it, but hey, if you enjoy it, then go for it, I guess. Honestly, sports games have just never been my thing, and you are buying the same game over and over again, which I can't blame you, because I buy Call of Duty every year, so I mostly just don't like sports games like that. But this 2025 one sold 30 million copies, so I don't see why 2026 one won't sell 30 million copies. Another game that's probably going to hit the 30 million mark is Call of Duty 2025. So Call of Duty 2025, whatever game they end up releasing, is going to do very well. Black Ops 6 sold 30 million copies. So whatever game they come out with this year will sell 30 million copies as well. Like I said, dude, I buy most of the Call of Duty games. I literally have dark matter in Black Ops 6, so don't, like, I'm sorry. I'm definitely a part of the problem. By any chance you notice that it uploaded in 2 weeks, well, I got dark matter now, so what's up with that? What's up? Man, there's a lot of games coming out next year. A lot of good games coming out next year. Another one of my very, very anticipated games is Subnatica 2. I am so hyped for this game, and I don't think it's gonna sell 30 million copies, but I think it's gonna do good. The first one sold 6 million copies, which is freaking awesome. I'm super happy for them. But it did release, I think it was like $20, so I'm sure that helped them, sell so much. However, I do think Subnautica 2 will do better than that, because there is co-op. People love the original, and they're obviously going to expand on that. So I think it's a very beloved game. It's co-op. People are going to buy them together. Let's say that Subnautica 2 sells 10 million copies. I feel excited and confident about that. I'll buy it multiple times to help out with that number, man. So you should consider it too. Sucks that it's not going to be coming out on PS5 right away, so I'm going to have to be playing it on PC. But eventually it will come out on PS5, so we'll see. And lastly, the best-selling game of this year will be Grand Theft Auto 6. This game is going to blow up the planet. This is the most anticipated game of all time. It is going to be the best-selling game of all time. It is going to be the best-selling entertainment thing of all time. This game is going to shake the world. It's going to cause power outages and workforce problems. It's going to be crazy. I don't really have to say anything else about it other than it is going to pop off. It's going to be a great game. I'm excited for it. Everybody, you're excited for it. Your mama's excited for it. We all hype for GTA 6, and it is by far going to be the best-selling game of this generation, maybe of this decade. So those are my predictions on the games that are coming out this year in 2025. I picked games that I thought were going to do well overall. Like, none of these games I don't think are gonna flop. Maybe AC Shadows, maybe that game's gonna flop. But a majority of these games I kind of curated the list. So if you want to see a video of all the games that I think are gonna flop next year, Let me know in the comments down below, because I genuinely think that these games are going to do pretty well, but we're comparing them to the best selling games of this year, which was I marked at like 30 million. And I do think we're going to get a few of those games in 2025, but you know, not all of them can be Black Ops 6 and college football 2024. Hot takes, predictions for this year. We are going to get a release date, or at least an announcement of BioShock 4. Yep, we are going to get BioShock 4 announced this year. I can almost guarantee it, maybe. And Bloodborne 2 is going to be announced.